Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Sagrada Reset, which is on episode 23. Now, when I watched this episode, I gotta say it was kind of complicated for me to follow the conversations in this episode, although at the same time I think it all made sense in the end, although at the same time I don't know how much detail I can really give you with this kind of recap in this episode, but those of you guys who are up to date with it will understand will understand the entire series in general. Those who haven't and just dropped it and just watched simple recaps of mine, which apparently they're always short compared to like 30 minutes of an episode, will understand where I'm getting at. May not understand a lot. So if anything else, let's go. All I can really give you is just like what happened in a simple manner. Of course, we have to it that Asai on the other hand, was trying to convince the driver, which apparently he is working with right now, to like help him out a bit. And pretty much, he, on the other hand, which is Tsushima, I believe, would disagree with that. But apparently, Asai gave himself as a hostage with a knife to his neck or to his body, which he has no choice but to agree with because he wants to watch over this kid. Eventually, we do see a couple of Asai's friends escaping, of course, along with let me see here. Haruki, in the end, how am I supposed to say, stayed behind to take care of some business? While we have to it that the conversation in this episode is most likely just about Asai and Urachi-san trying to convince the other about how the abilities are. And apparently they do put in a couple scenarios along with one person on a plank or something, and then involving copying an ability to a cat, but there was always one person that became the key player to all this, and that is Kagaya in the end. Although, like I said, when it came to the conversation between Asai and Urachi-san about the abilities in Sagrada are evil, while Asai believes they're like a gift or something that should not be erased, Urachi believes that they should be annihilated because it's evil and must face reality, although Asai tells him that you're the one that's not looking at reality yourself. It's a way to improve, etc. And I could see what Asai was coming from, and it was pretty difficult to get to that kind of point. But like I said, the key player in this episode was Kagaya himself. Eventually, when Haruki does send a message to Kagaya with the help of the other abilities in Sagrada, it seems like to me things are still looking very well. Eventually, Kagaya does have a talk with Asai, and he said he'll support him on this one after reminiscing about his past life, about his ability, along with many other things. Not to mention, after Urachi-san, which apparently I saw him as the main antagonist in this series in general throughout this final arc, it involved with a lot of convincing here and there, and Kagaya does convince Urachi-san that things should be a little bit different than just erasing everything. Eventually, we have to it that Asai reveals how he knew everything, etc., and so forth. So it looks like to me everything went smoothly as planned, as Asai asked Urachi for help, and eventually Urachi does agree, but apparently, of course, it does get a little tough with Urachi-san wanting to shake hands because he hates that kind of thing, and childish dreams, many other stuff, and of course, he asked Asai, how are you gonna solve all this? You do understand it's not gonna come true, right? And Asai says, yeah, I know it won't, but we solve one problem one at a time, and maybe we can work things out. And of course, that's when Urachi-san decides to give in. And of course, the last scene of this episode does involve Soma getting her abilities and her memories back, and just by the look of it, it looks like she's already in pain right now, mental pain, anguish, if I had to say it. And we have to it that the preview of the finale does involve some heavy drama, and I might be a little bit honest with you right now. Preview of that next episode is possibly gonna break my heart, because when it comes down to two of these characters, Soma and Haruki, which has been somewhat of a good fair screen time with both of them, honestly. But eventually, as I see the preview of the episode, of course, this is going to involve some drama between Haruki and Soma, and this is really going to be a tough choice, tough decision, and possibly no matter what happens, it's going to be devastating. I know both, and just like the preview of the episode, both of them, I'm pretty sure both of them will be talking and both of them will be crying. And of course, outside K might say, I've been always, my happiness with you has always been a great blast, you know? It really is true happiness for me. And it looks like to me, if outside K said that to Haruki in the preview of the next episode, this might be pretty devastating. Like, many people could agree that both of them don't deserve maybe this or that. You know, they have a lot of screen time, but who knows, because they're both bland or it's at yada yada yada. It's pretty difficult. And honestly, me doing this recap, watching the series every Wednesday, late right now, etc., took a lot of willpower and maybe stupidity from my own excuses, etc., to keep watching and resetting and solving problems in Sagrada, but yeah. So overall in this episode, I could give you the main point in this episode. It's just a convincing of Asai K and Arachi-san trying to convince each other how things should run. But eventually, Urachi does give in or becomes convinced in a certain way because Kaguya became one of the main key players, I believe, and that does happen in this episode. And of course, the ending where Soma gains her memories back, etc. Whew. This is going to be a real tough one. Not to mention the preview of the next episode. It's going to be sad as hell, possibly. Because two of these girls, I'm pretty sure they both have their likes and loves and crushes on Asai K. But I think we already know who Asai K is really going to choose. And man. I don't want to think about it anymore. Okay, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out. Bye bye. Choo choo.